I built this ginormous Indiana Jones game in survival Minecraft on Tango Tech's Patreon pay-to-play server, and it's a pretty fun game. One of the big parts of the game is collecting different treasure items. Now, there are two different types of treasure items. First, we have adventure tokens. Adventure tokens are pretty common. There are 27 of them per movie. So there's a movie, there's a movie, there's a movie, 27 in each of them. And they can kind of range from like a 2 or 3 out of 10 difficulty to find, all the way up to a 10 out of 10 difficulty to find. The other kind of treasure is called an artifact. Artifacts are more rare. There's only 5 per movie, so 5, 5, and 5. And they're usually like an 8 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10 difficulty to get. So pretty hard, but super rewarding. In today's video, we are going to take a look at Raiders of the Lost Ark and all of the secrets that you can find inside of this level. If you've played through the level, then this should be super helpful to show you what you missed. And if you haven't played it, well, it's just super cool to see secrets. But you're also welcome to play the game yourself if you like through the world download located in Tango Tech's Discord. Alrighty, let's do this thing. So we are looking for 27 adventure tokens and 5 artifacts. So here we are in the first section, the jungle section here, which you may have seen in the playthrough that I uploaded just before this. And the very first adventure token is actually just right here at the start. You can see there's these 2 little waterfalls here. If you go ahead and try and swim up in these waterfalls, there we go. Should be able to swim back in here, and boom, here we go, adventure token number 1. Moving on to adventure token number 2. If you just come to the right side over here, there's this little indent of a cave back here. So if we go and sneak down and then climb up this glowberry, we have a barrel here, adventure token number 2. Coming from number 2, to get to the third one, we're actually going to go all the way up to the top of these trees. So you can use the vines. I believe this one goes all the way to the top. We just go ahead and climb this one all the way up. We get to the top of the tree here. You got to be careful because you might die. And here's a barrel up here, adventure token 3. Back on the jungle floor, you can see on the right side, this is where players go up to progress the level. You go up and around, and right here, there's this little cave. This is a pretty obvious one. Go through the spider webs. You have to do a little bit of crouch work, open some things. Bam. Adventure token 4. Moving on, let's go to token 5. We're going to move past this general tree area of the jungle, more towards the waterfalls. And it wouldn't be a video game collectible if there wasn't something behind a waterfall, right? So let's go ahead and get back here. I believe we go through on the right side over here. Just in the corner is adventure token 5. Next, we're heading towards this villager tiki statue. Instead of going on the main path, we're going to go up the waterfall here, all the way to the top of it. And at the top, there should be a barrel for adventure token number 6. If we follow the main path, start going towards the jungle temple, we're going to see more tiki faces. And towards the top of them, you can see there's a little indent right here inside of the wall. If you use this bamboo right here, use it to do a really small parkour jump just around the corner for adventure token number 7. The next one is on the way to the cave. So if we're going towards the cave, this one is actually really sneaky. It's just a barrel right here, adventure token 8. But, you know, if you're not looking for it, you can easily walk past it. Blends in with the dirt. So adventure token 8. Now let's go through the cave here, behind the waterfall. Nice little area, small statue. Go over to the torch flower pond. Nice little pond here. And here is where we have the 9th one. It is right here. Adventure token 9. It's a barrel with a path block, so you just have to click along this line for number 9. So those are the first 9, the first third of the adventure tokens. Let's show you the first of the 5 artifacts. It's actually right behind me here in this big waterfall area. Most of the artifacts have multiple steps in order to get them. So this one is a parkour challenge. In order to get up there, there's this little wall on the fence. and a slime block here. You can see there's these lily pad things. I forget what they're called, but they drop once you step on them. So you have a limited time to get up there. So we're going to use this to bounce up. You got to jump quick. So let's go ahead and keep going along the bushes here. And we're just going to keep parkouring up and follow our way on these drip leaf. There's a little bounce here. I guess there's a skip, but it's fun to just bounce. So let's go ahead and bounce there. Once we're past the second slime, we got to go on all of these drip leaf here. There's a little safe spot there. So if we go up here, we're safe here. We're trying to get in that hole right there. So there's another safe spot there if you like it. But if you can, you want to try and do it all in one. All right, that definitely took a few tries, but we made it. So up there, get on the drip leaf, and you come into this little cave. If you go in, little slime will break your fall. And this is a bit of a slime cave. You can actually see back here through the waterfall if you come close enough. So if we go down in the slime cave, curves around, we got a chest here. Interesting. Take only one artifact, King Tut's mask. There you go. Nice little artifact for you. As you can tell, the artifacts have specific names and specific treasures that they're named after, but the adventure tokens are common, so those just have numbers to keep track of them. Then we take the bubble vader back up. Sweet. That's what the bubbles there are for, if you're wondering when you play through the game. Moving past the Torchflower Lake, we're going to go into the actual jungle temple here for the next collectible. We're going to go past all of these things. Oh, there's a bat. And this hallway, you may know from the playthrough, is filled with traps. So it has arrow traps that pop up based on you moving via skulk sensor. However, one of them actually holds the collectible. So if we go ahead and walk around, there we go, move, and you see there's dispensers there shooting arrows, but that one is actually a barrel. So you got to be quick. Oh, got it, finally. Adventure token 10. Looks like less people got this one. Next, once you're past the giant slime blocks and you're here in the crystal room, you can see there's a bunch of trapdoors. One of them actually has the next adventure token. This one right here. We use it to get down low. Bam, adventure token 11. Here we are in the next room. This is where the golden idol appears. I don't have it there just so that I don't blow the whole room up while I'm in here. But here is the spot for the second artifact. So you can see there's kind of a bunch of faces shooting arrows back and forth, but there's this one weird one that's not kind of lined up with the rest. That's supposed to be sort of a hint. So let's jump back here, not touch a pressure plate. So in here, we'll find something that says take only one. We have can be placed in front of observers, can be broken. We can place this in front of an observer. As you test them all out, you will find that there's one specific one right here that has an effect. So if we place it, we've actually revealed this. So you can place it, break it until you find the right observer. It opens this room. So this room here can be dropped on gold pressure plates. I know this is a lot of steps. This is one of the harder artifacts. Once we're back out, break the dirt so we can put it back. And there's only one gold pressure plate. You can see it right there in the middle. So once we get closer, we're actually going to see the other part of the artifact. You can see this is called idol deposit. This is an item return. So basically what this is a system for you to take the golden idol that appears here and put it in there. But if you've played the game or watched the playthrough, you know that when you take it, the whole room starts to explode. So the way to do it is to reenact the Indiana Jones scene where we take the sand that can be dropped on gold pressure plates, and while the idol is there, we have to toss it on so it stays weighed down and then pick up the idol. So once you do that, maybe you throw the sand here and this corner, and the idol's like right here. So then you can be here and pick up the idol, but the sand stays weighing it down. So let's say I put the sand down, I'm able to get the idol up, the room doesn't explode, I have the idol, so now I need to bring it here and deposit it. And this will only work if you do it before the pressure plate goes off. If you don't, this room will automatically get blocked up and you cannot do this. So let's go ahead and take the idol, put it in here. And there we go. We have Artifact, the Golden Idol, Artifact number 2. Up next, we actually have 3 different adventure tokens all in one area. So one of them is actually behind the boulder. If you see the playthrough, you run from the boulder and do a parkour course all the way to the end. It gets pretty difficult though at the end. So actually, most people are in a rush to keep going. But if you take your time and look back here, there's actually Adventure Token 12. If we go ahead and successfully complete the parkour, I'm really gonna try and do it first try. All right, bam, bam. Okay, and then we have a honey slide after the ice. The trickiest part of this whole thing, of course, is the shulker opening. Even I can't do it sometimes, but you basically have to go out and open them as you go. So we go like that. Well, I think you get the point. So once you make it past the ice, the honey, and the shulkers, then you have some stair parkour. So you kind of have to use the verticality of the stairs to make sure that you make it far enough for each of these jumps. Example A, we go ahead, we hop up. Some of these later ones are not as difficult. And then we have a slime block bounce. And that is the last bit of a long parkour course. And the reason it's so difficult is it's not, the most difficult parkour ever. The shulkers are pretty hard. But other than that, it's really the boulder that you have to worry about. Because the boulder is moving as a flying machine as you're going, and it will block this top half of the exit. Once the top half is blocked, you can't get in there anymore, and you have to completely replay the game if you want to get up there. So basically, you have a time limit that's stressing you out as you try and do all this parkour. It's totally doable. I have done it a few times before, but it's been like a year since we made this world, so I'm a bit rusty. So boulders coming. It looks like we're beating it. Boing. We make it up. We don't make it up. You got to keep your momentum on the jump. But if you do it, then you can get to the end with this barrel. And actually, here's the big surprise. There's actually 2. That parkour is very hard. And so you have Adventure Token 13 and Adventure Token 14 as your reward for completing it before the boulder. Let's go through the green door here into the ice section. The first Adventure Token in the ice section is right here at the start, actually. And your hint is a slime jumping. You can kind of hear it faintly. If you stand here long enough, you'll hear it a lot. And you can hear it's kind of like somewhere over here. So there's actually scaffolding under this layer of snow. So if you hold shift, you can come down here and there's the slime that's leading you here. His name is Keith, Consumer of Dimensions. And Keith is guarding the slime block Adventure Token 15. The next token is sometimes the easiest one to get and sometimes the hardest because half the time it's a cakewalk and the other half of the time it's actually impossible. So if we come all the way down from the bridges, we have this tent here. So in the tent, if we go in here, in the back right corner, we have Adventure Token 16. And it's pretty easy, it's just inside the tent. But the reason it's sometimes impossible is because it's actually hooked up to a daylight sensor, which means that this one is only available during the daytime. That means if you're playing through the map at night, because this was on our server with a day-night cycle, half the time it wasn't there, half the time it was. So it's just kind of a fun chance collectible to get. The next collectible is over here next to the tent and next to the fire area. You can see there's this wall here. This is powdered snow, so you can actually jump up and go through. I had a snow block here just so that people wouldn't just try and walk. You have to jump. Little extra step there. And here we have Adventure Token 17. The next things I'm going to show is actually an Adventure Token and the third artifact. But you kind of have to get both of them at the same time. So if you come here to the top level of the bar, you find a bedroom. So there's a bed, furnace, chest, cool. And here is a backwards barrel. So it looks pretty similar to this, not totally similar. But if you click in it, you can see there are snowballs that you can throw at large trip leaf. Well, I don't see any of that. the way to get there is actually to sleep in the bed, which ironically enough caused a lot of problems for some people who are trying to get it. I wouldn't do this again in the next season's version of this game because it set their spawn down here. But anyway, go ahead, we sleep in the bed, and then if you go ahead and leave the bed, it perfectly sends you to the other side of the wall. So if you're over here on the other side of the wall, there's some cool things. There's a Frostwalker 2 book. We're going to need that later. Over here on the chest, there's nothing. So you might think, okay, maybe I want to leave. That's what this button does. You click it, it's your way to drop into the bar. However, you can see right here, just under the cauldron, this is not actually moss carpet. That is a large drip leaf. So here is the snowballs. Aim it just right. There we go. All right, adventure token 18. You can see there's an observer down there, so it just observes when it changes. And then you have the adventure token right here. So that's the adventure token part of this puzzle. I mentioned there is also artifact number 3. That is what the Frostwalker 2 book is for that you need to grab in here. So let's go ahead and press the button and go down into the bar. Here is the bar area that you see in the playthrough. And upstairs, I showed you the trick of having a barrel backwards up against spruce planks so that it looks like it is a similar texture. Well, a way to completely hide it and make it look identical is actually with scaffolding. So you can see this one was just evil. I know everyone hated me for this one. That looks just like the spruce over here, but it's actually a barrel. You can see it has iron boots. So if we go ahead and take a pair of these, now we have iron boots, Frostwalker 2. Pretty awesome. And you can notice that the tables in the bar are actually all anvils. So all of them can be used to enchant the boots. Near the drink section of the bar, you can find bottles of enchanting to get levels if you don't have them, and then simply use one of the anvils. We're going to do boom, boom. Awesome. We have Frostwalker boots. So now, after all of those steps of going and sleeping in the bed up there for the token and getting the Frostwalker boots for the artifact is actually located inside the fire. So if you go to the fire, you can see there's some logs, but back here is actually an exit. If you go over here, you can hop right through. Boom. Here's this wide open area, little pond, and a barrel that's just out of reach. So the way to get this is with those Frostwalker boots that you have. So if you put them on, you can actually turn this into ice and walk across. Boom. Then we have the artifact, the Headpiece of Ra. That was artifact 3. The ice melts up after you. I thought this was a super fun, clever puzzle, but obviously it was a lot of steps and really difficult. That's not where the Frostwalker ends, though. We can actually use this trapdoor to go out of the painting back into the bar. And over here, you can see there's an observer up against water. You can actually also use this, since it was so much work. Put it on. Bam. Hits the observer. Adventure token 20. All right, no more Frostwalker. I promise that was all of it. The next token is also in the bar. You can notice there's a cauldron over here with dripstone. Why is it there? That's suspicious. Well, if you poke around, you're looking in the barrels, all that, and you look in the blast furnace, you can see, wait a minute, there's something in here. Go ahead and take one of these. It refills automatically. So we have this banner that has some green yucky stuff at the bottom. So we need to wash it. So we can wash it in the cauldron. Bam. It had a little note that went off, so it means something happened. If you look around for long enough, you'll see back here, a door opened up. And in this cozy little room, from the door, you'll find adventure token 19. All right, that's actually all of the collectibles in the ice section as well. There is an ice fishing puzzle you can see in the playthrough on my channel after this, but let's go to the desert area for the rest of the collectibles. All right, here we are past the ice puzzle, going into the desert town of Cairo. Here we are. There are a ton of Easter eggs to reference the server in this town. I'm not going to go through all of them. You can check them out on your own, but lots of them are hints towards where lots of the treasures are. So the first collectible here is actually in this big, ugly looking building. Most of the others look pretty good in my opinion, but that one is just wonky. Most of it is because I miscalculated how far the ice area would be from the desert, so I ran out of space and I kind of had to, mismash them together. So I actually made it part of the narrative. So if we come in this green sort of area, there is a chest with a book in it. This book says, "I'm so tired of staring at the ugly building across from me. Ugh, I thought my shop would be so convenient attached to my house, but then the neighbor built their house. Now I have to look at it all day while I work. I snuck in there today just to see if the inside was just as ugly. Somehow, it's even smaller inside than my house. It's one of the biggest places in town. How does that even work?" So that's your hint that something is probably wrong on the inside. Maybe there's a secret area. So if we go ahead and go inside here, everything looks kind of strange, but that's because these shelves are actually hiding a backwards painting. Bam, we have adventure token 21. The next treasure is really simple, but really effective. One of my favorites. There is a bucket of water here. Looks like a great decoration. But actually, if you flip the bottom trapdoor, there is scaffolding under it. It's so simple, but I think it's genius and it's really fun to find. In this barrel, we have adventure token 22. The next one also has a journal, just like that one, but this one is in another house. There are a lot of references and Easter eggs to our server in this town, so a lot of the names are taken from the server. A lot of them are super useful for the collectibles. So if we come in here, here's another journal. This one reads, "I haven't been sleeping well. Rifter is always loud at night next door. I've never known someone who is so obsessed with composting. Sustainability is great, but geez, it's loud. Whenever I go next door to ask him to quiet down, he's always gone. It's like he disappears to somewhere else." So this journal basically hints that next door, which isn't this one because that person already complained, next door is over here, this big tall building, right? So if we come in here, this is the right building, right? And the journal said he loved composting. Here's a composter, so maybe we need to do some composting? If we look around in the building long enough, you should see past the cauldron a barrel in the floor. Go ahead and take some of these wheat seeds out. Can be placed in composters. So this is one a lot of people got confused on because they would put it in here and then they wouldn't know what to do. There's actually a reset button, I believe, behind the banner here to reset the puzzle if you do it wrong. But what you need to do is not just put the wheat seeds in here. You need to get in here and then close the trapdoor on top of you so you are inside the composter. Then go ahead and fill up the composter with all of your wheat seeds. Boom. And once you do that, it takes you right through the door into a secret room. Once you're in here, you go ahead and press the button. This will reset the puzzle for the next person, and you find adventure token 23. As you probably noticed, there's a land speeder from Star Wars in here. This was sort of at the point where I had huge scope creep on this project. I went from just hiding stuff in random nooks and crannies like you've seen most of the time to thinking that every hidden treasure needed its own secret area. So this was one of the first ones. I believe I got the design off of Instagram or YouTube or just somewhere that I saw that was cool and built a cool little Mos Eisley here. But I think you'll see a lot of that in some of the other rooms I show you where there are additional secret areas, especially if you watch one of my next videos, the Last Crusade Hidden Treasures video. There are so many secret rooms in that movie, it's too much. It's unreal. But anyway, one last Easter egg on the back of the land speeder. It says Rick the Door Technician's land speeder. That is a reference to the Star Wars Jedi games. Let's get back into the city. So if we climb the ladders, we can hop right out through some of the snow. And boom, we're back in the city. We have one more adventure token in the city, and then we'll move on to the next area. In the back alleyway here, we do have a llama. The llama is named One Llama Bite after someone on our server, and there is a target block here. This one is pretty easy to figure out, but it's really hard to execute. So if you come back here to the hay sort of part and flip this trapdoor, there's actually a barrel hidden in here. So there's a journal here that basically is your clue that says, I really want to throw snowballs at the llama. So then we grab our snowballs that are used to hit the llama. We can't use these to hit the target as per the description. So this won't damage the llama, but it will get him to aggro us. There we go. Got him to spit it. Here we go. We made it. So once he spits on the target, we can see there is Adventure Token 24. As an event, we did also have a Tango Tech version of all of the Hermitcraft members as heads. So this is Rendog Tango Tech. So some of these heads are littered around the level. All right, so we have 3 adventure tokens and 2 artifacts left in the game. All of them are past the city, so let's go through the gate. All right, the next one can be a little tricky. So if we're out here in the Ark dig site, you can see there's a bunch of different bamboo. Actually, if we come down here, you can see there's an observer right here. I tried to hide this. It ended up being too difficult and I was running out of time, so it might be a little more obvious than intended. There is a bamboo trapdoor here that you may not see. So if you flick that, there is a secret area that opens up. So once you come in here, it's a really eerie blank. Looks like the back rooms. Super creepy. We come through. There's a bunch of dirt and blood on the floor and bamboo and scaffolding. This was around the time where BOO was on Hermitcraft, making jokes about scaffolding being better than dirt, and a lot of people just use dirt anyway, so I made a reenactment of a dirt versus scaffolding war. We can see here on the side it says King Scaffolding repels the dirt incursion in the Temple of Bamboo circa 1540 BCE, colorized for historical accuracy. So you can see what I was saying earlier about starting to make secret rooms for all the different collectibles. But over here in the back, away from King Scaffolding, we have Adventure Token 25. Sneaky one, but I like it. All right, only 2 artifacts and 2 adventure tokens to go. If we follow the main quest into the barbed wire area, let's go down towards where the miniature version of the city is. This beautiful room, which I built on stream, it was super duper fun. I think the colors really came together. It looks really unique. This is actually the location of one of the artifacts. So one of the bigger, rarer things, it's artifact 4. You can see that the big torch design I have has hoppers, and it says that you can use some of these bottles and throw them on the ground in this room. So there's a limit of 8. There's a reason for that, so people don't keep wasting them. But over here in the corner, you can see there's a gold pressure plate. A lot of people kept looking at this and thinking it was the main puzzle. The main puzzle's pretty easy. You just got to press this button and you're pretty much done once you read the sign. For the artifact, you have to actually lure the XP orb that you get from this bottle of enchanting to go onto the gold pressure plate. So the way to do it is to throw it ahead, and the XP is slowly trying to come towards me. Oh, there we go. And now it's underneath, it's on the pressure plate. Now it's not. So what you have to do is go away from the pressure plate so that it falls to the ground. It'll stay floating if you don't do that. So we do that. We fall down into the secret area that opened up. And we have a giant map art that was built in survival by someone else other than me. A "you died by a sweet berry bush" super iconic moment where Tango Tech died in his very own survival Minecraft game to a berry bush and not any of the dangerous things. So another cool secret room area with a special surprise. This also has a little book here in the shelf, and it has a special little story called A Berry Tale. Yes, that's a play on fairy tale. Tragedy of the Dungeon Master, an ancient mural interpretation. So this is as if one of the archaeologists came down here and found this mural hundreds of years later. In shadows deep where wardens creep, there dealt a master, genius steeped. With cards and crowns he wove his might, in frosted dungeons he ruled the night. His wisdom vast, his cunning keen, his pancakes graced a breakfast scene. Yet fate, it seems, had other plans, for genius falls by unseen hands. Not by dragon's breath or goblin's thrust, but by a berry bush, sharp and just. A twist of fate, a tragic end. The master's pride could not mend. So heed this tale of genius bold, and leave behind the embers cold. From black mines his legend flies, a warning told through ancient skies. So there's my little poem. If you know anything about Decked Out 2 and Hermitcraft Season 9 with Tango Tech, you'll probably get a lot of those references. But in the secret room, more importantly, is the artifact, the Staff of Ra. Once again, themed around Indiana Jones treasures. So super cool. That is artifact 4 of 5, so only one left to go. All right, one artifact left, 2 adventure tokens left. We are so close. Once we're through the dig site, we go down to the ancient temple, just following the normal path from the playthrough. And that brings us here into the temple with the two-sided parkour that you've probably seen from my video. And the black is meant to represent, just kind of a deep pit. It's definitely a lot more visible for whatever reason when I'm playing now, and probably for you on the video end. I don't know if it's the way I had my brightness set or if the server had a certain brightness setting. I'm not really sure. But looking at the black concrete, it looked a lot less solid. It looked more like infinite. So that was the idea we were going for. So if you're walking around here in the pit, if you fall off the parkour, you may notice right here, there's actually a gap in the black concrete. And there's particle effects coming out from a spore blossom. That's also supposed to be a hint because once again, it was way harder to see during the season. So you see the spore blossom things, you notice there's a little hole. You come back here, we have another secret room. Once again, I just insisted on doing these after a certain point. Wacky color job. This is all themed after CaableGuy, who is an icon on our server. Yeah, just a whole lot of really interesting combinations. It just seemed right to honor him. So if we open the barrel, we have adventure token 26. Once you're through the gold door after the parkour, we come to the color puzzles that you do next as part of it, the red, yellow, blue parkour type puzzles. And if you go ahead and go to the lever puzzle, you find the combination, of course, behind the pink banner. There's a button. You get the combination from glazed terracotta. There we go. So there's the combination. It opens this up. This is part of the normal, playthrough. So if you come here, this is just for the normal game. However, you'll notice that there are some magma blocks sitting here with these vents on top. This is actually intentional. I have a calibrated skulk sensor set to here when someone takes damage. So if you go ahead and get damaged by that, it will open the door for you to come through here. So really, really unique way to get in. We have these braziers of flame and a giant hourglass. Medium-sized hourglass, I guess. So by the hourglass, we have a lectern. The lectern says, following the gold door, your quest aligns to seek the Ark before sands of time. Complete each task and swiftly race, else lose the artifact, forced to retrace. Puzzles solved and parkour done reveal the treasure, but only if you run. So essentially what the hourglass is saying is that once you're past this door and you start doing these puzzles, there is a timer that starts. There's a skulk sensor under the floor, and once the timer starts, the door is open to get the last artifact near the Ark of the Covenant at the end of the level. However, if you're too slow in completing these puzzles and the parkour stuff that follows afterwards, then you're not going to be able to claim the artifact. Most people are too slow because it's a pretty tight timer, and you'll just walk into that final room, it'll look all normal, the walls are up, but if you do it in time, you'll see one of the walls is just completely gone, and it opens up to a secret room. If I make it in time through the vine swings, the parkour and everything, here to the Ark of the Covenant room with the Anubis statues, normally this wall is closed, right? So if I come through here, this is wide open because I made it in time. So this leads us to a secret room. Here it's a desert chase sequence. You can see there's a horse named Clancy. It's a 21 Pilots album. Came out while I was building this. It's what I listened to while I built. So that is the horse's name. But you can see here we got a really cool design for a desert truck. This is meant to represent the truck that hauls the Ark in the Raiders of the Lost Ark movie. Big truck chase sequence. It's a super cool scene. So I felt like I didn't really have a playable thing to do with it. So it made for a great secret room for the artifact. In the back of the truck, we have here a barrel. And it has artifact Ark of the Covenant. All right, I know this section is right before the end that I just showed you, but it made sense to talk about the artifact since it starts back there and then it ends there. So we have the last adventure token. It's here by the vine swings. If you hop down here, you can actually see on the back side here, there's a door. It's pretty hard to get into, I think. Yep. Let's see if I can get in. All right, that is way harder than I remember, but basically you have to fall into the door at the right angle. And you have Drop's pumpkin spice cookie. There's a mod on our server that whenever he spawns into game, he logs in. There's a cookie that gets into your inventory. and when you eat it, there's a chance you explode. That's just how we work, I guess. But there's some limited editions. I thought I'd show mine off here in this secret area. And in the barrel here, we have the final adventure token and final collectible adventure token. 27. So that wraps it up for all of the secret areas, the secret references, the collectibles and treasure and what have you for the Raiders of the Lost Ark level in my game, Indiana Jones and the Titan's Treasure. I hope this was super fun to see all the collectibles. The next videos going up on my channel will be a playthrough of the last Crusade level, which less people had a chance to play since it was finished right at the end of the season. And after that, we are going to go through all of the secrets, just like this video, for the last Crusade level. But I think you're going to want to watch that one because almost every single collectible has a secret themed room in there. I went way harder than I had to for the last Crusade, so it's even cooler on the secrets compared to this one. So definitely check that video out when it releases. Thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want to watch more videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.